Welcome, Kira, to Tea and Tarot, a podcast for candid conversations sparked by tarot and steeped in tea. I'm Mana, your host. Did I say Kira already? Did I introduce you?
Yeah! Hi, I'm
Okay.
Kira, also known as
Welcome.
Kira Mint or Garden of Kira. Hi.
We love you.
I
We
love
love
being
Garden of
here.
Kira.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, of course. I can't believe that today is the day that I have added you on Steam. I
I
swear
know.
that I had invited you for an event before and we were already friends.
I feel like Steam just slips through the cracks all of the time.
Yes, absolutely.
It is not convenient to find people on there.
No, not at all. Did you have an idea for your tarot reading today?
I did. I've never gotten one before, so I'm not gonna lie. I straight up researched different types of questions that you should
Oh,
ask for your first time.
that's so cool.
Because it's like, I don't know what to expect out of this.
Oh
So,
yeah.
I think a good base would just be what would the cards today? What should I know? What would they like me to know?
Ooh, that's a great question. Oh my gosh. You did come prepared. And I will shuffle for a little bit here and then bring them up on screen so you can see them too.
I'm excited.
This was one of my biggest hotkey projects when I started streaming and found my niche in tarot reading. I was like, I'm gonna turn every one of my cards into a PNG and put them all into VTube Studio and give them all a hotkey so I can toggle them on and show everyone because I'm sick of doing hand cams.
That is major dedication, and I think that's amazing. And my other question is, how many cards are in a deck? Like,
Oh,
or does it
um,
vary?
there's 10 of each number and then 4 of each family suit. So that's 14 in each suit. And then the major arcana is 3, 6, 7, 14, 15, 21.
Okay.
So 14 times 4 plus 21.
That's
A
so
lot.
many.
It's a lot of hotkeys.
Like, how do you set them? Sorry, I'm asking you so many questions now.
No, absolutely.
How do you memorize which hotkeys go for what?
So it was a huge reason why I invested in a stream deck.
Oh,
So I
okay,
have
okay.
a folder for each suit and then a folder for the major arcana. So I go through all of them because there's, 14, at least 14 buttons in each folder.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I
That's
would be
really handy
screwed.
though. That's awesome.
Thank you. I pulled for you the Magician, the Ten of Swords, and the Ace of Swords. Let me.
I've got swords.
Yeah. So the Magician card is he is super interesting because he's a bit of a mentor, and goes in hand with the card before him, the Fool, where on the reverse side, like the Fool is really open to knowledge and ready to learn. The Magician is really ready to give up that knowledge
Mm-hmm.
and share its power with the people around them. Um, the Ten of Swords is a bit of a warning sign, though. I don't see decisions being something that should be made too much right now. I know we always have to be making decisions, but like any serious decisions, if you can put them off, I would put them off for a little bit so you can think things over a little bit longer and maybe consult your peers about how they would go about making said decisions. Because even though your decisions aren't for right now. The Ace of Swords shows that you have like a big promising new decision to make on the horizon where it's going to kind of start something brand new for you.
Okay.
Um so there's this build up right now where you need to be a little bit careful. Now's not the time to be making the big decision, but it's going to come soon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hope that doesn't sound like complete gibberish for your very first reading.
No, I'm just thinking about all the things going on in my life, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, they definitely seem to be consuming you quite a bit. You've got a lot going on.
Mm-hmm. That is definitely very accurate.
Let's
I
see. I could read off the Magician card a little bit more for you, if
Sure.
you would like.
Yeah, I think that would be nice.
Uh, the Magician card is a card of boundless, expansive energy, whereas many of the major arcana deal with stillness or aspects of the mind. This card is about action, action, action. It's time to see yourself as the wildcat, embraces speed, grace, and abilities. Don't be afraid to begin. You have the power of all four elements within your reach. Now is the time to use them. So I think you have a lot of resources to do your digging and get the knowledge that you want.
Mm-hmm.
um, Definitely a good time to take advantage of that energy to kind of help sort out all of the craziness going on in your mind right now.
I think like the biggest thing coming up for me, not it's not like future, not near. It's definitely still a future thing,
Mm,
but would be for me to be moving out of my current place of living to somewhere else, which is not really someplace I'm familiar with.
okay.
So I think that impending like anxiety and knowing that I have to make all these big choices before you can make a move like that to make sure everything
Absolutely.
goes smoothly is like, okay. Definitely reminder to rely on people and ask for advice on how to go about it so it's not as stressful. doesn't
Yeah,
doesn't get messy.
definitely. So it's not so scary and everything. That's
Exactly.
big. I can't remember what state it was, but I almost got accepted to a position at Tasty Peach Studios, and I'm pretty sure they're in the Midwest.
Mhm.
And I was at a point in my life where I was so ready to leave everything behind and move to the other side of the country.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's not easy. Those windows
No.
of opportunity aren't always there.
No. Especially it's just with making sure you've got like the funds and the resources to be able to make a big move and like making sure you can reliably have a job when you get there is also just like a big uh anxiety on my mind.
Absolutely. Do you have like a big adult job right now?
I do. I do. I work at a marketing company.
Oh, okay. Very
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't
And
really
I,
talk about it much online.
which is totally fair. Um, I boil mine down to I work in quality assurance for a medical device company,
Hmm.
which, I mean, even within my company, I think there's like four different departments technically under quality assurance, and we all do very different things. So,
I think being vague is definitely it gets the job done.
yeah. But people know enough that they're like, oh, cool. And they don't really like need me to answer more questions because they're like, yeah, I'm not gonna know anything about that.
Yeah, or they're just like, I really don't care to know anything about quality assurance.
No, it's not that exciting.
Hey, whatever pays the bills, right?
Yeah. It's been paying the bills for over 4 years now. I can't believe I've been at a job so long.
That's impressive.
I need to change though. I can't stay too comfortable. I'm starting to hit that threshold where like if I were to start interviewing for other things right now, people would be very understanding of me being like, yeah, I just need to like grow. I've been here long enough.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but others, if I like tried at 7 years, they'd be like, okay, do you have transferable skills? Are you too much in this rut?
Yeah.
Can you learn more? Because you stayed comfortable for so long. So I've even considered transferring within the company, but um, definitely not as easy as I was hoping it to be.
Fight them.
Yeah,
It.
I just, I
Yeah.
the department I was starting to fight for, they just have like no estimate on when this job position is going to open because they've had a lot of higher ups leave for other opportunities at competitors, and they have to fill those first before they can fill an entry level like me.
That would make sense. Yeah. But it is also obviously frustrating from your side, being like, I'm already here, just let me do the thing.
The worst part is, I was interviewing with a woman who was connecting me with all these other people, and she seemed to really like me and thought that I would be able to pretty much get trained on everything without much of an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounded like she was pretty much ready to take me on as soon as it was open. And she left for a better opportunity at a different company. So I had to
Ah.
talk to her higher up to kind of get like reacquainted, and he was heavily encouraging me to like go back to school to a degree. It wouldn't have been like a formal college experience, but I would be
Mm-hmm.
seeking out licenses and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm really not into that. I'm not like
Yeah.
that into this position that I want to go spend my money. And I think the
Yeah.
company would cover it for the most part, but I like
I
what
think
I do with my free time right now. I don't want to be studying for these tests instead.
I don't blame you. I think once you reach a certain part in your career, it's like there's it really sucks at the idea of having to go back to school if they aren't just fully covering the cost
Right,
because of how much extra work you have to do for it outside of your actual just 9 to 5 work.
right. Because I'd essentially be like on the clock without getting paid in a sense because I'd be working
Mm-hmm.
for a promotion that I'm not even like guaranteed and spending all these extra hours outside of work.
Yeah, that's the worst part. If you're not even guaranteed for them to like give it to you after all that.
Right. So I think I might start looking elsewhere within the company or even outside the company. I've applied for a few things, but people aren't getting back a whole lot right now.
That seems to be the general like consensus that I've seen online because I've been kind of delving into just seeing what the job market stuff is going on right now and like what I need ideally on my resume and like how to write it up and stuff. Maybe any like courses I should take that are like free. And
Absolutely.
it's a lot. I've been at my company for almost 3 years now. It will be 3 years this fall, and I'm definitely feeling that I want out
Yeah.
to learn more stuff. Like I've learned everything I can learn here, but I'm comfortable until I like make some big life changes, and then I won't be able to work there since I won't be living near the office.
Yeah.
So it's definitely there's gonna reach a point where it's like, bye. There's not really much I could do about this, but thanks for the 3 years, buddy.
Yeah. Big part of my not wanting to leave is that Minna and I work in the same company. We have
Mm-hmm.
two conjoined buildings and we work in separate buildings, but we do get to have our lunch breaks together. We get to
Aw.
carpool together. And that's definitely helped on gas costs for us just in general.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like trying to figure out like, oh, how much I make in a day and kind of how close that I might be getting to that in terms of commissions and streaming and if it's
Mhm.
realistic or not. And then I was like, oh, I guess I'm kind of getting close, but then it dawned on me, I'm like, I'm getting a 401k, I'm getting my health insurance and
Yeah.
my HSA and all of this stuff that is not being accounted for because that gets taken out of my paychecks. But
Mhm.
that it's literally helped me survive.
Yeah. That my growing up, like my biggest dream was to like do content related stuff and whatever. It was such a dream to be able to just do silly things online and draw and to make that your full-time job. But realistically, it is hard as hell to make enough money in case like you get sick or injured. Like you could just go broke after that because you don't
Hmm.
really take into account like health insurance is expensive if you don't have a company subsidizing like part of it.
Super expensive. And Minna and I are saving for the wedding right now. So even though I'm like thinking about moving and stuff like that, the incentive to stay within the company is insane. So I don't have to go through that probationary period of like, oh,
Yes.
you've earned having life insurance and health insurance and all of that stuff with us. And now you can sign on. And I'm seeing so many doctors for things right now, and it's really nice to finally have gotten acquainted with the doctor's office, period. And I don't want to potentially even like switch to an insurance that doesn't cover her
Oh
anymore.
yeah, that would be terrible. It's hard to find somebody that works for you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you were able to though. Like get really acquainted and like find somebody that's willing to, listen and figure stuff out.
My female doctor has a wife.
Let's go. Girl
So,
power.
and Minna and I see the same doctor now,
Aww.
and it's just been really great. And it's like, I don't want to change to anywhere else. I know there's probably other LGBT doctors I could see out there. It's definitely not like the rarest thing out here, but like
Mm-hmm.
would they even have openings? Getting a PCP right now is insane.
I feel for you and I'm sorry. I didn't see a doctor for a very long time because mine left the care
Oh.
and I was like and I called them asking them how to get like another one. They're kind of just like, I don't know, call your insurance.
Mm,
So my insurance just randomly picked somebody and it was just a whole thing trying to get it actually set up and figured out, but
absolutely.
they don't make it easy.
Minna and I both at separate times were using like a Medicare, I think is the correct term for it, where
Mhm.
we were paying, so it wasn't free, but it was discounted because it was through the state. And we
Mhm.
were with Boston Medical Center,
Okay.
and there are so many different insurances out there, and it was just so weird to be with them because I would see doctors outside of the city because I didn't live in Boston. They'd be like, "Oh, you're a far way. Why here?" And it's like, because I live here. Not everybody who
Yeah.
has BFC lives in Boston. What the hell?" But they did like try to assign me doctors in Boston. And it's like, no, no. Please give me someone closer.
Don't want to have to drive all the way to Boston for that.
No, absolutely not.
I don't blame you. Sucks.
It was just nobody ever asks you that if you're on any of the major providers. I don't get why I got so many like side eyes for having BMC, but I wasn't in Boston. I was like, you accept them. Why do you have them then?
I don't know why that'd be such a big deal, considering it's like a big whole section of the state anyway.
And
Like they
there's
say
so
the
many
Boston area is like 20 suburbs that
there's
aren't
some
Boston.
there's so many even like companies that are on the border of New Hampshire or Maine or Rhode Island, any of our surrounding states, and they'll be like, we're a Boston based business. It's like, no, you're not. You're in Western Mass.
But to somebody who's never been to New England is like, yeah, that sounds good. Sounds right. They're close enough.
I mean, I guess, but it's just like we all live here in Massachusetts. Why am I getting side-eyed for having BMC when literally every company in the goddamn state says they're from Boston?
I think it's so funny the idea of being like, oh yeah, we're only 45 miles, and not realizing 45 miles out of Boston is like an hour and
Yeah.
well over an hour away.
Yeah. Um, so to get into questions, I hear you've been working on a secret fun model during your break. How is that going?
I have. I actually had it pulled up because I was working on it a little as just a fiddle before the stream. And I guess for anybody who's tuning in can hear a little bit about it. I'll give you guys a sneak peek. I wanted to make something that is a little bit more tailored toward my personal style and like the more wolf girl messy aesthetic, I guess. And kind of steered away from the traditional anime look that I currently have and
Oh, I
went for
love
a
that.
stylized uh I would say it's a mix of Animal Crossing type aesthetic, but not small like chibi type character. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, if you want, I'll send you a picture of her, of what I've gotten done so far. And I think she's really cute, and I think everybody is going to like what I've cooked up so far.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Yes.
So I've been working on that on stream.
Is she 3D?
She is
Oh,
fully
wow.
3D. I've been cooking this up in Vroid. I haven't even used my tablet. I've made this all with my mouse because
Wow.
I'm too lazy to plug my tablet in.
Oh my god, I feel that for V-Roid though. It's a lot of effort.
It is, but it's a cell shaded kind of Animal Crossing style ish. If
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly to describe it, but I think Animal Crossing inspired is like a good baseline.
I think that's accurate. And I love that only like my trained VTuber eye, I clocked it as being 3D
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't read 3D like super in your face. It does have like a nice uh flatness to it that is very charming.
Yay! That makes me really excited to hear that. But I wanted it to be similar to my current look, but a little bit more uh closer to me as a person rather than my anime current persona.
Yeah, I love that for you. I
Thank
definitely
you.
see it. I've met Kira in person.
Yes, we have met in person. I got to meet Mana and Minna. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was an honor, which actually kind of plays into another question of mine. I
Hmm.
know that you're a big Vocaloid fan and even took some inspiration for Gumi for your design, if I remember correctly.
Very much so, yes.
Which is kind of funny now that you're starting to get away from it a little bit.
Hmm.
But how did you get into Vocaloid, which ultimately let us meet in person?
So I first got into vocaloid back, I want to say when I was in like 8th grade is when I hit my big anime phase.
Mm.
And I was a YouTube girly. I still am. And one day, just somehow going from like anime music, AMV stuff, stumbled upon Miku Miku dance memes that people were making.
Oh, that's
And
so
then
funny.
I somehow ended up watching just like Miku songs, like, Deep Sea Girl, World is Mine, like the very classic, uh, the early days ones. And I was obsessed. It was just like instant yes, cute girl singing song. And I just got super into learning all the different voice banks and all the different companies. And I just had so
Yeah.
much fun. And I got super into Utao and would make songs. Like I downloaded voice banks and would make really badly mixed covers of different Utao banks that I liked, but wanted to hear them sing songs that nobody else had done before. So yeah, I was deep into it.
That's awesome. I had very similar origins. Did you ever make your own Utao?
I did.
I did too.
The voice bank was terrible, but and I don't even know if I ever properly finished it. I think it was just a bunch of voice files sitting in a folder, just half done, barely edited. And
That's so funny.
did you have like a full design and everything for yours?
Kind of, yeah. Which is funny as I slowly try to pull it up on YouTube. Now that
I'm
I'm like
excited.
thinking about it in the back of my head, design-wise very different, but some of the basics,
Mm-hmm.
um, still reminiscent of my design right now. My choice for, uh, I think they might be on SoundCloud and not on YouTube.
I'm really sad that I deleted half of my old YouTube videos on my YouTube account and didn't just private them because I can't go back and see all these terrible covers I made and reminisce with them.
Oh, it's gotta be here somewhere.
I'm sure I
Hmm.
have my thing uploaded somewhere on DeviantArt.
I found one, but it's not the design that I actually went with for any of the covers that I uploaded on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But it was on DeviantArt.
Classic. I'm surprised that site is still functional these days.
Honestly. I swear my stuff is on SoundCloud. I might be able to get into that account unless they deleted it for being so inactive for so long. Didn't think SoundCloud did that.
I don't think they do. So you should be safe. Do you have
Ah.
any do you have a particular favorite Vocaloid from back in the day, or is it kind of just like stayed the same over time?
I was a huge Luca fan. Um
Yes.
Still am.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Your hair gives Luca vibes.
does
Your
it
YouTuber.
really?
Yes. If it was pink, you would look just like her.
um I of course like Miku a lot. I used to
Mm-hmm.
hate Gumi. I did not like her earlier voice banks. I thought they were really bad. I didn't like listening to them.
I cry.
But her newer voice banks are really nice and I've been liking her a lot more lately.
Mm-hmm. They definitely upped in quality.
Yes, she was crunchy at first. She was a little grungy.
Grungy and like just very muffled, I want to say.
Yes.
Like the sound didn't sound very good quality and clear.
And I want to say almost nasally, but I think that's kind of true of all of the early Vocaloid voice banks. They were all a little nasally almost.
Yeah. Here, I'll send you this. It's kind of related to what we were talking about earlier about this was my VTuber when you mentioned steered away from my current design. Uh
Oh,
I made an OC based off of Gumi's hair,
yeah.
and then I kind of just stuck with that, and that's how it ended up as my VTuber's hair because it's just like OC after OC just all kept the same hairstyle.
Yeah.
I just didn't change it.
Oh, I must have changed my Utao's name. It's not pulling up shit right now.
No, the lost files.
It's somewhere. I'll just have to dig after stream or something, and then I'll share with you.
That would be awesome, but no worries if you can't find it. I understand.
I know they exist though. So now I'm just determined.
You must find them again. Don't let them be lost to the void.
No, no lost media here. I mean, because people can download them off of SoundCloud too, so. Oh my god, I had my high school class president follow me on SoundCloud at one point. I was like, how the fuck did you find this shit? You guys are probably
What?
making fun of me.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah. It was he never brought it up to me, and it was never like something they made fun of me to my face.
Uh-huh.
Um but it was wild that I was like, how in the fucking world?
Does SoundCloud do a linked account thing if you've
I
like
th-
ever emailed somebody? If you've
I
used like a
think
Google
it
account?
might, and I think that's how I got found. And
No.
I think it was because of my Facebook.
That would do it. That's my biggest fear with TikTok.
Yes, TikTok is so bad about it.
Especially it feels like they take away they change the settings to like if you send somebody a TikTok, it'll show your account. I feel like those get flipped on randomly. Like they don't ever fully save if
Huh.
there's an update. So I always check them regularly to make sure that if I ever view a TikTok or something somebody sends me, they don't see that I'm viewing it from my VTuber account.
Yeah. Huh. I haven't updated my TikTok app in a long time. I don't have auto updates on my phone because
Hmm.
apps break too frequently, and I think I oh no, I had to come off of it, I think. I had old Twitter for the longest
Oh no!
time. Let me
You're
close
also
out of
holding
it.
out.
Oh no, I still have the Twitter bird. Haha. I had to do it with Discord recently. I had to give up the old Discord UI because it was breaking.
Oh no! Yeah, I remember that. It was a huge change when they for me getting used to the new layout.
Yeah, and then they've done updates since then to be a little bit more reminiscent of the old layout. So I
Yeah.
think I chose a good time to come over to it, but literally like half of my messages were sending, half of them weren't. I was getting all of these error messages, and even though it was saying like certain messages weren't sending, I was seeing them
Hmm.
on my desktop as sending. It was breaking really bad, and I had to finally update.
That's really frustrating.
But Twitter hasn't done that to me yet. I still have old Twitter.
Just keep it as long as you can,
I sell my
just for the
phone
spite of
later.
it. Do you have
Authentic
Flappy
old
Bird?
Twitter app. No, I don't.
Flappy Bird Twitter phone, the
That
bird phone.
would have been perfect.
You
Did
mentioning old TikTok, sorry.
no, you're fine.
I had a thought reminded me of I think I first ever came across you on TikTok with your previous model. And I
Oh,
was
that's
just
so
like,
funny.
wow, cute model. And I think that's when I followed you way back when. And
Uh,
that's a forever ago now.
yeah. Because I changed over to self-made 3D for a little bit. I think I did that in like November or October of one year, and I have been on this model since April of 23. So I've been on this model for over a year now. And
Yeah.
then I had like 5 or 6 months of the 3D model, so it's almost been 2 years since I've changed my design.
You've been around in the VTubing space for so long.
Ah. I am simply a silly guy on the internet with hyperfixations, and I'm not letting go of this one.
That's how we roll.
hmm but I'm kind of so flattered that you followed me because of my design. Um, because I had a lot of problems with it that I didn't realize at the time of me having it. It wasn't until I was starting to make the switch over that I
hmm
realized like how much I didn't like that design.
Was there anything in particular that you didn't like?
The biggest
Like,
contributor was that I hated drawing it, and I didn't realize that. I thought I just was like in a drawing rut or I wasn't
hmm
enjoying drawing, but I hated drawing my old design. It was tedious.
like the dress skirt part, or like I'm looking at it right now just to remind myself, or like the little ear horn things you had going on.
I think it's kind of a combination of everything because
hmm
I tried to cram too many like signature pieces onto her that were all very important and hard to simplify.
Yeah, I think that
So,
is a common design trap that it's very easy to fall into because it's like I love all these things. I want them
yeah.
all on this one character.
And I craved individuality so bad, and that was, I think, ultimately why I made that design because I wanted to be so different from everyone else.
hmm
But even then,
Understandable reasons.
she's not like super unique.
I just thought it looked cool because at the time, I was just like, yeah, live 2D model. That's the dream.
Oh,
I thought anybody with a live 2D, I was like, wow, that's amazing.
yeah.
I'm out here with my 2D, or sorry, 3D model I terribly made up in VRLine.
Ugh. I almost, I was gonna say, I almost wish that I had started in Vroid instead of moved to Vroid later and invested in this really nice Vroid that I ultimately don't use anymore. But
hmm
she was the base to my redesign, so she didn't totally go to waste.
At least there's
Um,
that.
but I think I probably quickly would have realized some of my design flaws if I had gone that route first.
hmm
Because paying for commissions was also not cheap for her because people would charge extra to be like, you have too many details. I need to charge you like a detail fee. And some
Oh, wow.
YCHs would be like, I don't charge extra if you have like ears and a cattail, but if you have more than that, I will have to charge because it's too
hmm
many different elements. And especially on like live 2D models for rigging where all of those pieces have to move.
Yeah, exactly.
She was
The more the
expensive.
thing. I'm sorry, but I understand. I still give big kudos to my live 2D artist and rigger for manually rigging the two sunflowers that sit on top of my model's head.
They look so good.
Right? I'm still impressed by just like how nice of a job they did and how much effort they put in to make them look really 3D.
Yeah, they did a great job, absolutely. I have like dream like rigging artists that I want to reach out to. But they
Mhm.
would be so expensive. Uh
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna sit in this corner over here and not worry about it yet.
The end of the day, There's always the future.
Hmm. No, that's definitely something that I understood better with a redesign was like I can take my baby steps. I started with a really solid foundation, having this model of all models for Alive 2D. She was not cheap. I used a tax return to pay for her.
Yeah.
um, and we can make upgrades. We can get additional stuff later. It doesn't have to be all
Mhm.
done in one go. I'm very
Exactly.
excited to do that stuff. I have a summer outfit that I was really hoping to make happen this year, but the wedding has made VTubing expenses a very low priority.
Yes, I'm sure because I can only imagine how stressful it is trying to save up for something like a wedding because you want to make sure everything goes well. Do you I don't know, have you shared online like what your approximate like due date for all that is? Like when
I'm
you guys are going to have your wedding?
I'm pretty sure I have because I got so obsessed with wedding planning that I started looking for jobs in wedding coordinators.
That's amazing.
But I am going to have the wedding in August of 25.
Okay, so not this summer, but next summer is the goal.
Yes.
Okay. I'm
Uh,
hoping for the best for you.
Yeah, we have a venue. The venue's gonna provide catering. They would also do like bakery catering, but their bakery almost exclusively used almond flour, which would kill Minna's
Oh.
mom. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
went, no, we're gonna
No
go with
thank
a different baker because the chances of cross-contamination is like way too high.
Yeah. That's yeah, definitely don't want to mess with that. Are they just more towards like gluten-free stuff and
I
choose to
don't
use
know what their
almond flour?
choice.
Like, that's just really interesting to me of all things almond flour.
Yeah, and every time I've mentioned that to a different baker to be like, yeah, this is why we're not going with our vendor that's provided with the venue, and they're like, oh, that's weird that they use almond flour so much.
Yeah. Maybe they just make a lot of macarons.
They also only offered like three different flavors, sort of thing, so it could just be like the niche of almond flour being really successful with those flavors,
Oh, okay, that would make sense.
but I'm not entirely sure. But
At
we,
least you
you
carry on.
go.
Sorry.
No.
No, no, no. I'll fight.
Fine, fine. We did a cupcake crawl last weekend,
Oh.
where we just like surprised. We didn't tell any of the bakers that we were looking for wedding propositions, but we surprised went into a bunch of places and grabbed like two cupcakes from each place and brought them back home and
Mhm.
tried them with my maid of honor and her partner.
Aw.
Um, and it was a good time. But we had one of the worst chocolate cupcakes I've ever tasted in my life.
Why was it so bad? Like,
You
what
know
about
how
it?
you know how library books smell?
Oh no.
If you could turn that smell into a taste, it was this cupcake and it didn't taste like chocolate at all. It was bad.
Was it just like chocolate from left in the fridge for 10 bajillion years?
I don't know if it was that or if they like exclusively used like baker's chocolate and
Oh,
like maybe
maybe.
forgot the sugar. We were also speculating like maybe their cupcake tin, they like forgot to rinse out the soap in it before they
Oh
put everything
gosh.
in there. Whatever they did wrong, it like neutralized the flavor to the point of like nothingness and tasting like dust. Minna
That's
described it
gross.
as tasting like pool water, like hotel pool water.
But their other one tasted fine?
Their other one was fine.
Yeah, that
So
seems like a fluke and nobody tested it, tasted it before it went out on the floor.
It was so bad. And it
I'm
wasn't just like
sorry.
a palate thing for one of us, all four of us fucking hated it. It was so bad.
Yeah, that's definitely a serious issue. I would stay away from their chocolate products.
I think we're gonna stay away from them completely.
You know, that's fair and reasonable.
um but we did find one place that we really like and we're very excited, but now I have to do the scary thing of emailing them and asking for a quote.
Please, I just want to get married with tasty goodies.
Yes. Oh,
Let me give you money.
but not too much. Please spare me.
Yeah, ideally, yeah. It's just for a really special event and stuff. I guess. Don't please don't charge me more because I put the big W word in front of it.
Oh my god, that's such a mood. That's why I've been enjoying like printing my own invitations, and I ordered a stamp off of Etsy so it
Mhm.
has Minna and I's legal names and
Mhm.
our address, so all of the envelopes will get stamped with our return address and we don't have to handwrite that portion out over
That
and
is
over
smart.
again.
That very very smart.
Because our list is about 80 people right now. So
Hell yeah. That
that's
sounds
a
like a
lot
cute
of
little ceremony. I guess
yeah.
it's a pretty sizable one, but like
I
seems like a
think
I'm
in
glad
the
you
wedding
have it.
world it's like kind of medium where it's definitely
Mhm.
bigger than some people who go like real intimate and only invite like 15 people. But then there
Yeah.
are the people who invite like 200 people and go big.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Minna
think
and sorry, you go.
the last wedding I went to was so long ago. It was like my sister's wedding back when I was in high school, and she had a lot of people there. It was at like I'm not gonna say it out loud, but you probably know of the place.
Okay.
It was an outdoor place. You might have heard of it, and it was beautiful and lovely. But as like, I never really put it together when I was younger. Like as a teen, I was like, wow, my sister knows a lot of more people than I thought she knew.
Yeah. I I've only been to 3 weddings in my entire lifetime, I think. I had a friend when I was like maybe 19, got married. My aunt and uncle got married when I was like maybe 9, 10 or something. So I don't
Mhm.
remember that too much. And then an ex-friend. Oh, two ex-friends actually. One of them was very good. The other was very small. Not that it wasn't good, but very small.
Mhm.
I just don't have that much experience with weddings, and I'm so jealous of people who post on like Facebook and they're like, "Oh my God, I have so many weddings to go to. I'm like booked for the entire month of July and August just going to weddings every weekend." And I'm like, "Bitch, how get me on the list."
You know what you gotta do? You gotta find people who are having weddings, even though you're not related to them, don't know them. Ask if you can go just to see the vibes. You can plan your own. You're like, I won't stay for the reception. Don't worry, I'll leave. I just want to see what it's like.
Oh my God, when Minna and I were doing the cupcake crawl, we almost hit up our venue to be like, "Hey, can we?" Because we were in the area because we
Hmm.
wanted to pick a baker that was closer, and we found a nail artist that was super close, and we were like, maybe we should just like shoot them an email and see if we can stop by and see, because we toured it in February when all the plants were sad and brown and dead.
Yeah.
And snow on the ground, but we're gonna have a summer wedding, so I would really love to see the venue uh closer to our actual time, but I'm sure we'll have lots of meetings next year where I actually will. So we were like, no, we don't need to bother them.
That's fair. I definitely understand, but it would be good if you can get a extra early peek of what it's like
The
in August.
curiosity. Yeah.
What flowers are blooming and stuff that they have.
Yeah. They I've seen a lot of pictures where they have like a lot of hanging basket flowers
Oh,
around.
that's gorgeous.
I'm very excited for that part. I love flowers.
That sounds nice.
Um Going back to your artistic abilities and stuff like that, I've seen you work with various physical mediums
Mm-hmm.
on stream, excuse me. Do you have any that are your favorites?
For physical
I
art
guess
mediums,
just art mediums in general. It doesn't have to just be physical, but I am definitely curious about your physical mediums.
I think I started as a, I guess, traditional artist. That is my comfort zone, way more than digital art. I've been doodling since I was a wee child, wasting all of my mom's printer paper, much to her dismay. um, and I think just a classic pencil on nice paper is my favorite thing because you can smudge the pencil with your finger, or you can make hatching lines, or you could even do dots. Just feel like you can do so much, and there's different, like, uh obviously different, like, graphite intensities, smoother or harder. But in college I got super into charcoal because I took one art class, and they really just let us use a whole bunch of different stuff and try out um, different types of pencils and charcoals. Since little did I know, I didn't even know there's different types of charcoals that you could use and different techniques. And I really liked the feeling of how messy it was, even if it was awful to clean after. Or me going back to my dorm room and blowing my nose and it's just like black soot. But my favorite technique that I haven't done in forever, just because of the space required and I don't have an easel or anything, um, is when you just cover an entire page in charcoal and then you use an eraser type stuff or putty to erase the white lines of your drawing. So instead of drawing the outlines, you're erasing into the block of charcoal. I'm not very good at describing this at all, but
No,
I
I think you've described it very well. I've never done that before, but I am totally seeing the vision. You're working in the negative space
yes,
instead.
yes, thank you. That I was looking for something exactly. You're doing it the opposite way, and I found that really a really fun challenge when doing still lifes in college, and I really liked the way it made me think about just be a lot more deliberate with the shadows and shading because you don't have like an outline to go off of.
Right. That's super interesting. Part of your love for charcoal is why I don't like charcoal. It is very satisfying to work with, like the end products that you get out of it and
Mhm.
stuff, but I do not like getting my hands dirty.
Yeah, it is very messy. I do not blame people for not wanting to get into like painting and charcoal for that exact reason. Even pastels can be really messy too.
Mm. I do make a small exception for pastels every once in a while. The pastel colors and like color theory of mixing the pastels is very satisfying for me.
Yes. I was lucky enough to get like a family friend gave me this old pastel kit that they're really high quality like artist pastels, so they blend beautifully and nicely once they're like all warmed up and you've been holding them for a while. It's
Oh.
just like, yes, chef's kiss. I love all these colors. It's so smooth.
Yeah, I love watercolor a lot for playing with color too.
Have you ever used gouache? I think I'm saying it
Mm,
right.
I don't think so.
If you like watercolor but want something that can be watercolory or more opaque like acrylics, gouache might be something fun for you to try.
Mm, that might be a lot of fun because I also like acrylics a lot when I was in my art classes and I had to use oil-based paints. I
Mm-hmm.
hated it because of how patient you have to be because
Oh my
those
god.
paints don't fucking dry, dude.
No, they don't.
I don't like it.
It's pain. I have one oil painting that I've kept from way back when, and I'm pretty sure it sat in the corner of my room for a month and a half before you could touch it without it
Yeah.
like being a little bit sticky. It's finally fully dry like 15 years later.
Yeah, the casting time, what is it called? It's not casting, but like another resin term.
Yeah.
The time for it to like fully set is kind of forever, which is
Is it
also why you don't want to mix oil and acrylic because acrylics will dry and if they're on the underlayers, they will end up cracking under all of your oil paint and mess with things.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that. What is the oil used for oil paint? Is it linseed oil? No.
I'm not sure.
Either way, it's a pain in the butt.
I definitely want to look into gouache now, though.
Highly recommend it.
One
It's
of my
not
most
something
used,
for me, but I think it looks gorgeous, the finished product.
hmm, one of my most used Procreate pens is actually the gouache one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think have you ever downloaded the Jing Sketch like free brush pack? It's like the
I'm
most
not sure.
popular free brush set you can get online. And those are pretty much the only ones I ever use when I use Procreate.
I
I
use a
use
lot of the
sketch
pre-made
brushes.
ones.
The Procreate pencil, baby.
I like their inking line. I like those ones a lot.
They
But I
have
do
some
use
nice
a few of their
defaults.
painting ones.
Mm-hmm. I think that's something that Procreate definitely has going for it is having such a nice variety of default brushes and how easy it is to edit them. Makes it very accessible.
Yeah, I edited I think the painting round brush quite a bit so it could kind of match a style because in my team Vhive they have this like chibi base where we're all trying to draw chibis of each other so we have cute little photos of everyone to put on the website. So I was trying to mimic this base's already established
Oh, okay.
line weight that it had
Mm-hmm.
and I had to edit that brush quite a bit, but I think I got there. It's still not my favorite because I wish it was weighted a little bit heavier. I don't like that I have to go over my color twice to get full opaqueness, but
Mm-hmm.
I can I can troubleshoot it more later, but also I like the level of translucency it has, so I don't want to completely get rid of that. Artist
That's
struggles.
me when I have like three of the same brush, slightly different.
I should
Studio
duplicate the
Pen
brush.
1, Studio Pen 2, Studio Pen 3.
I think I have that for gouache or like a
Gouache.
feather pen. I do have a couple of iterations of them because I adjusted them ever so slightly.
Mm-hmm. Definitely the thing about digital art, I find it's really hard for me to get how I draw on paper translated to digital art and the
Right.
style to stay the same. It's so weird. Like everything I draw on paper tends to look, you could tell that I drew it But as soon as it comes to digital art, it's like every single drawing it's a totally different style because just of how different drawing on like my iPad or my XP pen tablet feels for me personally.
Right. Do you also use like any of like the, I guess for lack of a better term, like life hacks so you get those real straight lines and stuff like that that you can't get in physical media?
Um, do you mean like the fact that like in Procreate you can just like draw a circle and then have it make a nice straight circle for you?
Yes. Or straight lines, like any of the assists like that.
My favorite tool in Procreate is the symmetry tool, so I only
Oh,
have to draw it once.
me too. Oh, the
It's so
symmetry tool is
handy.
godsend.
I also really like I do like the straight tool, the straightener tool. Um I think I use that and the symmetry tool pretty often for random stuff.
I know I
Um
could break out a ruler for a physical media, but I'm so lazy.
for physical media, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I have mastered the art of getting pretty straight lines on in one go. You just commit to it and draw your hand down and you're good.
Absolutely toot your own horn about that. That is brag-worthy.
Years of
That
practice.
AI can't do that.
AI can't draw straight lines.
A lot of the time, no. You'd think that it would be capable of doing at least that. It's a computer, but
My favorite thing is seeing the weird, not that I enjoy looking at AI images, but just seeing when you could tell it referenced a lot of signs or something or logos because it's like that weird Simlish, elvish looking
oh my god,
word
yes.
language on stuff. It's like, though that's supposed to be something. You're doing great. I keep working though.
Yeah. And you've done a lot in both 2D and 3D. Do you think you have a preference for 2D or 3D in the digital space?
I think I prefer as a VTuber. I think because I started as a 3D VTuber, I have a slight preference for that because I also have access to full body tracking
Hmm.
and stuff like that. And being able to use those technologies is really fun when I'm feeling inspired. Can make some really cool stuff with that.
Yeah. What do you
But
use for full body tracking?
I got a old HTC Vive off of Facebook Marketplace.
Oh.
Like they
So
don't
you
even
have
make it
base
anymore.
stations.
Yes, I have base stations and I got some Vive trackers. And then
Awesome.
my community was kind enough to help me get an extra Vive tracker so I can put that on my head for tracking. So I don't even need to wear the headset. I can just wear Vive trackers.
Oh. I didn't realize that that was even an option.
Yeah. It's pretty handy once I saw like a video that had something about it. I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to do that." That's so much better than wearing my headset on top of my head like a hat.
Definitely. Yeah. Because then that still enables you to be able to have the face tracking. Because
Exactly.
when you have a headset on, either you need like a really advanced headset and very few exist on the market, or
Mhm.
you need like these crazy workarounds and DIY projects to get that face tracking to work.
That's what I was doing before I got the Vive tracker. I wore it on top of my head, but didn't put the actual goggles over my head. Like I wore it on my forehead and then like
Oh,
tightened it really tight and then just had my phone on my desk. Cuz I don't have like a neck strap
right.
for my phone, which ideally I should get one, but I just like not having to worry about like if I lean over the phone falling out of anything.
Right. Oh wow, that's I love wrapping my head around that stuff because I only just recently, last December, started to get into the VR world a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more and invest in it for myself because I've always been taking peeks at it over like PAX and stuff like that pretty much since it started existing, but
Yeah.
it didn't really feel super obtainable until recently, and it's been a lot of fun to play around with.
I'm glad you've been having fun. It's VR is really fun with all the things you can do with it outside of VR in terms of tracking, but it's also a pain in the butt to set up and requires a lot of resources, like PC wise, to be able
Mm,
to run it.
yeah. Some people get so creative though. Like, I haven't been able to test this yet fully. I'm trying to think if I have even started. Because I think I needed the Bluetooth adapter and that's in, but I still have it in its original packaging. Uh, but I found tutorials on how to use your old Switch Joy-Cons as trackers.
Yo, that's cool.
So I only needed to spend like 30 bucks on some third-party straps on Amazon so I could actually like keep them held down on me properly and not worry about
Mm-hmm.
them slipping out and breaking and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um
instant
and
drift.
And if you have the Bluetooth compatibility already built into your computer, like most normal people, you don't have to buy anything else. You just get the straps, and you can even DIY those. But I'm a silly, and I did not put a Wi-Fi card in my PC when I built it, so I don't
Oh
have
no.
Bluetooth. But you can
At
buy.
least there's dongles.
Yes, it's amazing how technology has evolved, and you can just plug something in, and it's like, oh, I have Bluetooth now.
It's kind of amazing. We truly do live in the future.
I don't know how I've lived so long without Bluetooth on this fucking PC, man.
I wish that computers just had more USB ports. My issue
Yes.
with all the VTubing stuff is I run out of USB ports, so I had to buy a powered USB, like external extender, because
Yes.
I just didn't have enough power or ports for everything.
No, I struggle with that too, absolutely. I could probably condense a few things.
All the plugs.
Um, what sorts of things have you been doing while you've been on break aside from working on the 3D model?
What have I been doing? Um, my break has mostly been a mental health, physical health, recuperation time, I guess. I started to experience some burnout just from being in go, go, go mode for so long while other life things were happening and
Right,
not really like giving myself time to breathe through all of that by feeling like I gotta keep doing this thing because it's something I enjoy. But consequently, me being so like, I don't want to give this up caused me to start feeling pretty burnt out from it.
right.
So I was like, all right, I'll take a little break. And so during this time, I've been doing a lot of just making appointments, doing doctor things, really improving like my mental stuff, which I have done so far. So I'm feeling much better already.
Yeah. Been
And
exciting seeing you posting on Twitter again.
yeah, I have days where I'm like, I'm feeling inspired. Let's go be annoying online. um, so I've been kind of just playing games and doodling and obviously working on model stuff and kind of slowly planning how I want to come back
Yeah.
and spending time with people outside of the digital space, which has been nice as well.
Fuck yeah. It's really hard to juggle all of that at the same time while having a full-time job and a consistent streaming schedule.
Exactly. It is really hard. I commend people who can work all day, like a 40-hour plus week, and then also stream practically full time,
Right.
because that's a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah, that's why Minna and I recently decided to condense our stream days onto each other because we were doing off days so we could kind of support each other on the other days.
Hmm.
But we quickly realized that like we're burning out. We're trying to tell friends and family that we can't do things on the weekend as often so we can have time for ourselves. But there's still so many things that we want to do. And we spend 4 out of our 5 weekday afternoons doing streaming.
Yeah, which is a lot
So,
of your time.
yeah. So now we just do both Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that creates some free time for us to chill at home on Mondays and Wednesdays because traveling on the weekends usually starts on a Friday for us.
Hmm. I'm glad you found a schedule that works. That's awesome. That's a great way of doing your time. That way you both can still do something you enjoy, but can still have time for each other
Yeah,
and
because
your family.
we've been trying to play Dragon Age offline together because it is one of Minna's obsessions. And the new game is going to come out apparently, I think this fall, which was a bit
Hmm.
of a surprise. They dropped that estimated date. All of a sudden, it was like, oh my god, you guys are already ready to drop it?
Dragon
Okay.
Age.
So Minna and I have powered through the first two games, and we are in the first act of the third game right now. But I'm enjoying it a
Let's
lot
go. That's
because
awesome.
they're long games.
I remember I somehow got Dragon Age for free on like EA back when EA used to be
Yeah.
the Origin app. I don't know how I got it, and I tried playing it, but my computer couldn't run it at the time.
Mm,
I think, does Dragon Age Origins, is that the name of one of them?
yes, Origins I think is the first game because I think Dragon Age 2 is just Dragon Age 2. I don't think it has a
Okay.
special name. And then
Yeah.
Inquisition is the third one that I'm on right now.
Okay, yeah, that was the first one. I tried playing it, but I couldn't run it, and I just never went back to it because I forgot Origin existed for a while.
That's fair. They're almost like, or at least they used to be, like Epic Games Launcher a little bit, where they would have a free game every once in a while. That's
Hmm.
probably how you grabbed it, because I think Minna has extra copies, like whenever somebody gives away a free copy on any sort of platform. I think they might have it on Steam, Origin, and PlayStation.
That's awesome. There's no escaping Dragon Age. It's in like a RPG style game, right?
Yes.
Hmm.
Um, and Inquisition is like an open world, sort of. And the worlds have definitely been a little bit more closed before that, but still large. And there's a lot of story to get through. So I'm almost there. So Minna can enjoy playing the new game and not like hide all the spoilers from me. Because
Yeah.
they've even been trying to hide the title of this game because I guess it's a little bit of a spoiler in it of itself. I
Oh,
have heard it a
that's
couple of times, but it escapes my mind after the conversation is over and I've slept because I can't remember my breakfast.
all right. I will not tell you the title when I Google Dragon Age what pops up. I was curious to look at pictures of it because I was like, okay, I've definitely seen so many pieces of fan art of these
Yes.
characters on Tumblr back in the day.
Yes. Um, Minna was probably a big contributor to the Dragon Age Tumblr people.
I love that for them.
um,
I was a super Hulock. There's no denying it. I'm sorry.
I got into Sherlock, but not. I got into Supernatural a little bit, but it didn't
hmm
last very long. And I couldn't get into Doctor Who.
It's okay. I understand. I'm just kind of disappointed. Just a pinky's worth about disappointment.
Okay. I'm still allowed to be your friend.
Yes. I would
Okay.
I I would never be upset that somebody didn't like Doctor Who cuz I can totally see why nobody would want to watch that show. It's weird. It doesn't look good half the time and it's just strange.
Minna was also very involved on Tumblr for the Hetalia fandom.
Basta!
I that was also one that I got into for like a hot minute but couldn't finish the series, so I didn't get into it that much compared to my friends.
I was obsessed. I was so obsessed. Remember, gosh, back in middle school, Hetalia roleplay groups
Oh
pretending to
god.
be different countries. It's so bad to. I'm embarrassed to admit that out loud.
It's having a resurgence because of the remake that they recently had. So
Is that
there's like another wave of young cosplayers getting into Italia cosplay.
no, no? Wait, is it actually out or is it coming out soon?
I'm pretty sure it is out. I think
Oh
I
gosh,
haven't gone looking for it, so I could be
I
wrong.
now suddenly have the opening song stuck in my head. Italia 2024. Wait, new Hetalia manga gets a third musical in summer 2020. Hetalia musical?
That must be the media that everyone's consuming right now. I think an anime was rumored to be on the way at the very least.
I wouldn't be surprised.
My
People
middle
love a
school.
reboot.
Oh my god, I've been loving a lot of the reboots. They do so much better the second time around.
I saw there's gonna potentially be a One Piece reboot even, starting from the top.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how
Oh,
accurate that is,
that's a lot of
but
commitment.
exactly. But ever since like the Netflix show, I mean, One Piece has always
Mm,
been huge pop culture, but I think that really threw it into the mainstream for non-typical anime for
absolutely.
normie anime watchers.
Yeah. My middle school obsession was Black Butler. And they're getting another season all of a sudden?
Yeah, they are. Like how many years later?
Oh my god. So
So
many.
many.
Because I think the last one I remember watching was Carnival. I think if that's the name of it, or Circus.
Circus, yeah. Their
Um,
public school arc was the last one. I
oh, I don't
never
think I've
even
watched
knew
that
this
one.
existed.
Yeah.
Unless this is the new series. Season 4, public school arc. Who is your favorite character from Black Butler?
God. I cosplayed a lot of them. I did CL at one point, was very unhappy with how I looked as CL. Did Sebastian a couple of times to pair up with people. But my obsession was Grell, and Grell was actually how I started getting traction as a cosplayer.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Because
I
I found this ball gown in a thrift store and it was black and red and it had what's it called? It's not an asymmetrical hemline to it.
okay.
So it was
Yep.
short in the front and long in the back, which was kind of a little bit new, especially for a ball gown.
Yeah.
In that time being in middle school. Uh and people loved it when I wore it to conventions, and it's how made a lot of my friends.
That's really cool.
Some of which I still have. In fact, one of the friends that I made the very first day that I wore that out is now my maid of honor for my wedding.
That's amazing. Who would have thought Grell cosplay would bring you to where you are now?
Did you do any cosplay at that time?
I didn't really cosplay when I was really young, just because I had access to like my sister's computer, which she let me watch like anime and YouTube on, but I didn't really have my own access to it. Not until I got my first laptop in high school,
Hmm.
and I did some closet cosplays. Stuff from Sergeant Frog.
Oh my
I did like I had a Miku Love is War closet cosplay where I took like a black button up and I painted the edges like teal blue. It was not pretty, but I was proud of it.
We all
And
had to do that at that age, though, because ordering cosplays on the internet didn't really exist for America at that time.
no,
If they
my mom
did,
wasn't
you
gonna
had to
spend
wait a
that money.
month. You had to wait a
Yeah.
month for a slow boat to bring it over from China.
My mom wouldn't let me like buy stuff online unless it was back before Amazon became what it was today, when it was like
Right.
still only books. That was the only online store she would ever let me buy from.
Which is totally fair. Children probably shouldn't be buying much on the internet.
I was a huge reader, so she would let me buy books from wherever. But I think eventually once I got my license and my parents would let me drive their vehicle to the thrift store, that's when I started thrifting stuff to DIY my own cosplays. So I've done the Alola Pokemon trainer, uh, Handsome Jack from Borderlands pre-sequel, and I did my biggest, most intense cosplay that I'm the most proud of was Slime Rancher. Um,
Oh.
I made her little vacuum gun and everything. That one was my favorite, and I put the most effort into. And I also did Portal 2 Chell. I think those are the big ones, and there's like other little ones that I don't remember.
The Slime Rancher one seems very your vibe.
Yeah, I can send you a picture of it if you'd like.
Sure.
I'll have to go dig them up from my phone, but
Yeah.
my mom was very cool with me using like her sewing machine and all her doodads. So that's how I made most of them.
I bought a few wigs, like my Miku wig, online when I was that young, but the only way that I could was if I had like birthday money or something like that, and I went, Dad, can you buy me this thing off of eBay? And I would hand him my cash from my birthday.
That's really sweet that your dad would be cool with doing that for you.
He did it a few times, but then there were also points where it's like, this is too embarrassing to ask my father to buy for me. So I'm
Yeah.
not gonna do it.
You don't want him to see the anime merch you're hoping to get.
But he raised me on video games, so he was always very cool about that stuff. I briefly mentioned this the other day, but no, not Minna, my sister and I, when we were young, we were only born 2 years apart, so It's enough for there to be a lot of sibling bickering,
Mm-hmm.
and fighting over things, and if we would really start getting into a spat, my dad would say, take it out over the video games, and handed us the controllers on the original PlayStation, and we'd play like Tekken or something like that. And or Dead or Alive was one that I remember a lot. And, I used to beat my sister a lot, and I think that's what inspired her to be a good gamer because she beats the shit out of me now.
She got good out of spite.
She did. She's
I
really
love
good at
that.
Smash.
It's a powerful motivator when it comes to siblings.
Yeah.
I'm proud of somebody for being into Smash. That is one game I've never really played. At
I
any
can't do
time,
fighting
I just
combos.
I don't understand. How do you do it?
How do you store the combos in your brain?
Yes! Oh my gosh. Speaking my language, I'm like, I don't understand how you just. Maybe that's why I don't like. I really struggled to play Monster Hunter. I'm like, how do you memorize these things?
Oh my god.
Me no
That's
good
a big
remember.
feeling. I had so many friends try to get me into Monster Hunter, and I'm just like looking at it and watching other people playing, and I'm like, nope. I'm
It looks
sorry.
cool. Like graphically, the monsters,
Yes!
they look awesome.
I wish I
But
could get into it, but mechanically watching it is like, I can't do that. Sorry.
yeah, I tried. I feel so bad that I couldn't, but it's just definitely not for me.
Yeah. But I
Uh,
can understand the concept of like up and the dash button, or
mm-hmm.
the side button and a certain move. Like I can do directionals and an attack, but past that, when you have to press 3 buttons or more, no thank you.
That's too much.
I'm not gonna remember how to do that.
That's why you just pick Pikachu and you spam the little lightning attack.
After you
Pika!
try out all the other buttons and then you finally find
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I feel so called out. Accidentally jumping off the stage because it started moving and you didn't realize it would
Oh
do
my
that.
god. Uh, my last question that I have for you, that there's many critters and bugs in a garden. What made you choose worms for your community?
You are so right. There are so many critters and bugs that I could have chosen. The whole worm thing, I don't fully know how it happened. Like most things with streaming, I actually didn't have a name or like a name for the community or anything at all up until the worm thing started. I was just as like, yes, these are the people of the place where they go.
Hey, chat.
And yeah. And there was somehow there was a stream one day where something worm related came up and we're like, lol, what if I just started calling you guys worms? Wouldn't that be funny? And somehow everything started being worm garden, worm this, worm that, something worm queen, and it's just been a downfall ever since of me on my dirt throne covered in worms. But I do quite like earthworms. I think they're really cute. As cute as a tiny little earthworm can be. They're just chilling. They're doing their best, and I appreciate that about them.
Yeah, my stepmom actually keeps worms in her basement, like a tote, and they help with compost.
Yeah! I would love composting worms.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Do you garden quite a bit in real life?
I don't have a garden because I do not live in a place where I can really have one.
Right.
And I don't really have enough light, daily light, to have an outdoor like balcony one. And but I do have a lot of plants. My living room, everything along the wall near the one window that can get some sunlight is just all plant. Both sides. I'm propagating some pothos right now, so I'm going to be giving those away to some family members who want uh more plants in the future.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah,
We're in a
that'll cut down on the
very
space
we're in
they're
a
taking
very
up.
similar situation. We don't have garden space outside. We're half underground, so we don't get a lot of sun in here.
Mhm.
And we don't really have the room, but in previous places when we did have room, they were all kind of like crowded on a single wall that happened to get good light.
Yep. It's
And
hard.
the cats
Fine.
made it even harder.
Oh no!
We have given up on plants in the house right now for our limited space and the havoc that the cats wreak.
Are they plant eaters or do they like to just like get into the plants?
Jack kind of likes to eat the plants a little bit.
Mhm.
Cricket just has no spatial awareness. Where she'll wants to be on the shelf next to it. She doesn't necessarily want to get into it, but
Uh-huh.
she if she had to be put under a category for fight, flight, or freeze, it is freeze. So when you go
Oh.
cricket, she just freezes and it's like, oh, you're making it worse. And that freeze kind of seeps into the way that she walks over precarious things, where she just walks really slow, and you can
Oh.
tell she's trying to calculate her steps, but she's picking all the wrong spots and her feet are like slipping out from under her. So she would do that with the plants too, and you just in slow motion watch her knock these things over, and it's like, we're done. We're not doing this anymore.
That is so adorable and also disastrous. An adorable little disaster cat.
She has the slowest little hurricane.
I have like one of those. It's like a three-tiered bamboo shelf, but each shelf is slightly wider than the one
Okay.
above it. So it's wide as the bottom, and I have every little shelf, nook and cranny covered with plants because I know if I didn't, my cat would probably try to. Not that, I mean, he already has, like climbed through the hole in the back, all through over the plants, knocking over the pots. And I'm like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So, and he also nibbles on the ends of some of the leaves. So, one of my spider plants is just all the little leaf bits are just half chewed off.
Jack is kind of picky about his plants, but his favorite plant to eat was, of course, chives, and cats aren't supposed to have anything from the onion family.
Oh no!
So
But
I'm
the
like, you little
flavor!
idiot.
The
he,
flavor!
he do like the onion flavor, but he needs to not.
That's cats for you.
I don't know if you've looked into it, but the way that cats consume onions affects their body very similar to celiac disease, where
Oh.
if you eat gluten as a celiac, it creates like permanent damage to your blood.
Mm-hmm.
And that's dumbing it down like a lot because I don't have the brain capacity to have the specifics in there right now.
Yeah, not good for you. Don't
Not
don't
good.
don't let cat have onion.
Mm,
Understood.
no onion.
He will not be having parts of my taco.
It's
No
so
Taco Tuesday for
hard.
him.
I like onions and so much.
I know. Onions are good.
Yeah. That's not
They
something
add
that I warmed up to until I was an adult. I didn't like onions as a kid.
raw onions and cooked onions are very different experience.
Yes. Um, but I think that's just about all I have for you today. Is there anything that you would like to plug? Anything you got coming up?
Thank you for letting me sit here and chat. Thank you for my first ever tarot card reading.
Yeah,
I'm very excited to see where everything goes.
absolutely.
And I hope that everybody looks forward to seeing the design I've been cooking up in the future. That's my personal plug.
It's
Follow
very good.
Mana's Twitter. Follow Mana's Twitch. Follow Mana's YouTube.
Follow
Follow mine
Kira's
too.
Twitter if you want to know when you can see said new model. Follow Kira's Twitter so you can get the announcements and stuff like that. Here,
It'll
I
be
should.
up eventually. I'll slowly tease it. I'm not sure when I'll be back to regular streaming, but I'll be around eventually.
You guys can follow Garden of Kira here on Twitch. Um, is it also Garden of Kira on Twitter?
Yep, all my socials have Garden of Kira.
Okay. And thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you and chatting and reading your tarot. And if you want any follow-up tarot readings as things progress, you are always welcome in my DMs.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's very sweet of you. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
of course, of course.